We're at
10 o'clock. I will call this meeting to order. There is a quorum present, so let's do the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. 2.0, additions or revisions to the agenda. I need to pull 4.4 from the consent agenda because it is still at council, so we will postpone that until October 2nd. And then under unfinished business, we need to add 5.5, which is consider approval of change order request for the courthouse roof replacement. And then I also want to add 5.6, which just is an update on the batch plant and our discussions with river sand and gravel. Any other additions?
What about tabling 6.2, the discussion on the development?
Yeah, let's table
Sally Smith's recommendation that we aren't ready to do that yet.
Okay, let's table 6.2 as well. And we will see if we can get more information for a later meeting. Any other changes, revisions? Okay. Moving on to 3.0, correspondence and public comment. Individuals wishing to address the county court may do so at this time and at other times throughout the meeting. Speakers are asked to raise your hand to be recognized by the chair, give your name and address, and limit comments to 3 minutes. Any public comments? None.
Thanks for making the effort to get down here to receive all the interest that we have. We have a meeting, so appreciate that.
We appreciate you coming, so we're not speaking to an empty room.
Thanks for coming, Julius. I don't have any correspondence, so let's move on to 4.0, the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda. A second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda, which consists of consider approval of September 4th regular meeting minutes, consider approval of Oregon Department of Energy Intergovernmental Agreement number 19-030, and consider approval of Department of Land Conservation and Development 2019-2021 Planning Assistance Grant. Is there further discussion?
I just on the Department of Land Conservation and Development grant, I just wanted to get some more information on that as we go forward, just to know have we had it before, what did we get it last year, and then what it was spent on. So I'll make contact with Michelle.
Okay, perfect. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 5.0 unfinished business and 5.1 Frontier Telnet update. No updates so far. Probably won't have one again until November because the next Frontier Telnet meeting is late October. So 5.2, consider approval of Pillar Consulting project management proposal for the Ward Street shop. So this is obviously pending us finalizing the lease with the city, which is still being negotiated between the councils. But I'm not anticipating that there's going to be any problems with us getting that finalized.
It's just a wording issue, right? Is that what one of the councilors are?
Yeah, it's a few small things on what happens with termination. When the lease is terminated, what happens for the rental credit, how is that calculated, all that kind of stuff. So they're just working out those kind of little details.
Are we having any other trouble on that? It's taking long, it seems like it's taking a long time.
So that's something we're going to have to talk about, I think, is our council, the turnaround time, I feel, is not reasonable. And it's impeding our ability to move forward. I mean, Teresa and I have Teresa keeps a whole file of pending projects, and most of them are stuck with council at the moment. So we may need to revisit what we're doing with council. On the IGA, for instance, on the fiber IGA, I sent that to our telecom council, and she already has a draft back to me. We're going to talk this afternoon, and then she'll talk to the city later this week. And so that turnaround was maybe 10 days total from start to finish. So we have some contracts with council right now that have been there for 6-8 weeks and haven't been turned around.
Sounds like we need to have a talk.
Yeah.
We need to put some timelines on.
Well, if they were too busy for another client, they shouldn't take us.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a good point. If they didn't have time for us, they shouldn't.
Yeah. So one of the things I might explore with Christy today, because I'm meeting with her about the telecom stuff, this is our telecom attorney, is she's also a municipal attorney. So we may see if she turns around things as quickly as she did and works as well with partners as she has on that particular project. We might look at just altering that letter of engagement with her and seeing if she can take on a broader scope and starting to move some of the projects over to her so that we don't have to fight the backlog and figure out what we want to do long term. Because I have had at least one meeting with them talking about timelines, particularly with this project, and those timelines were not met.
Again, after the discussion.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if they're aware that we're not impressed with their turnaround time.
Yes, the last call we had, they had 3 attorneys on the call with me, so I was like figuring like, okay, we're gonna get things turned around now. So far, that's not really worked out.
Okay.
So. So, but back to the matter at hand. So I spoke with Marla about the project fee. She's got room in her budget to do that. The state is okay with her spending her grant money on project management to get this done. The only request the state had was that that the motion be an up to, so that it doesn't just run wild.
Okay.
Which I don't anticipate it would, but it's good to probably for us just as a habit to do that when we can. But other than that, I mean, I think our recommendation would be to approve it.
So this is paid for, well, obviously out of her budget, but and from a grant? Okay.
So it's the STF funds.
Okay.
So the grant covers the bus farm, which is the agreement with the city and those upgrades, and so this will cover that as part of that project.
Okay.
So it's the STF grant will cover it.
What kind of?
STF,
Which stands for?
State Transportation Funds, I think. I'll have to double check that one.
And then there's one that's really close to that too.
STIF.
Yeah.
There's an STIF and an STF, and I think this is STF funds.
So at this time, we're just, what we're looking at here is just the approval of the Pillar Consulting.
Correct. So that when we have the lease in
The
place.
work that they've done, or will do to.
Yes. So
Project
Jeff,
management.
yeah. So Jeff will just make sure that the new doors, that the facility can hold that weight, all those little things that we need to make sure if we're adding new doors and things that we're not affecting the integrity of the structure.
And it sounds like he'd be in charge of the RFP and all that.
Yeah.
Which is good. So we need a motion?
We do.
I move to approve the professional services agreement with Pillar Consulting Group in the amount of $12,440 for design and project management services for the Wood Street Shop alteration project.
Do you need to say up to? What was that you were just telling us?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So it should say in the amount up to $12,440.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the professional services agreement with Pillar Consulting Group in the amount up to $12,440 for design and project management services for the Ward Street Shop alteration project. Is there further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 5.3, the Nonpartisan Commissioner Initiative update. So, I have to have a little apology here in that the date to get our, the statement for the ballot initiative came up on us a little more quickly than I thought it was going to. It's due in like August, and when Ellen and I looked at it, we had like 2 weeks to be able to turn that around. So we made the executive decision that we're going to continue to move forward on it, but probably it will involve, it looks like it's going to have to involve some public hearings in order to refer it, and so we're going to need to be able to probably lay out a timeline where we can do a public hearing in Arlington, a public hearing in Condon, and then an actual consideration. So
Is that just to get their input, like, do they want that? Do they want to see that on there?
yeah, exactly. So it's just basically a public hearing where they can come in and say, if this is a good idea, bad idea, to testify on that. And ultimately, we're looking at putting it on the ballot anyway, so we're not, our decision is whether to put it on the ballot or not. So the voters would have multiple opportunities to weigh in and then ultimately vote on it. But so anyway, what I think I will do is I will plan on coming back to the court with an actual proposed timeline so we can start putting those, when those hearings would be into place and making sure that I'm giving us plenty of time to get everything submitted so it can meet Ellen's deadlines to get it actually on the ballot. So I apologize for that.
So would we be able to do that for the May?
I'm going to check with her and
Does
I'll,
it have to be in November? For some reason, I was thinking it had to be, and that's why we didn't do it in May.
Not required by ballot.
it was, I think it depended on whether it was a odd or even year.
Oh, okay, that's it.
And so I'm going to go back and check with Ellen because, obviously next year will be an even year, so that may make different, that may have a different set of rules that we have to follow. So, but I'll come back with the timeline, and then we'll need to get council. That's the other problem. Is getting back that way.
A long timeline.
So that might be a crispy project if she's willing to take that on. So we may move that over to her and have her do that. Okay, that's all I have for 5.3. For 5.4, consider approval of chief of staff candidate letter of employment. So we heard back, I'll just say on the record so that folks watching at home know how this process worked, but several months ago, the court approved hiring procedures for our candidates for this position. We had originally received 5 applications. The selection committee, which was made up of Ellen, Nathan, and Amy, scored those. As you all remember, we met in executive session where they shared their recommendations to us for interviews. From that group of 5, the pool was narrowed to 3, and then we interviewed those 3 candidates in executive session on August 21st, which was all per our procedures that we passed. Based on the scoring from those interviews, I contacted the top scoring candidate, the preferred finalist, to make a conditional offer of employment that was pending satisfactory background checks and reference checks, and also being able to negotiate the letter of employment, which is in your packets. So our preferred candidate, I can say, was Lisa Atkin, and all the background checks, everything came back just fine, and she and I and our counsel negotiated the letter of employment that's in here. So basically, we settled on the top end of the scale for what we had classified for this position. The only other request that she made, which I thought was reasonable, was she had wanted a total of 10 vacation days, and right now our entry-level people coming in their first year get 9.5. So it was like an extra half of a day of a vacation, which I thought was not. Which I thought we could probably agree to that. So if we are comfortable with moving forward, Basically, what we'd be looking for today is a motion to officially hire her and then to approve the draft letter. And so what will happen is then I would sign this, send it to her. If she signs it, then that officially means that she's employed, basically. It is at will, which it clearly states in here, and so that means that she really serves at the pleasure of the court. So if at any point this isn't workable on either end, then we're free to disengage with that agreement. So,
As is she.
As is she could walk away from it at any time for any reason. So that's kind of the overview. Questions about it?
No, I'm excited.
Yeah,
Get somebody
too.
to, somebody else.
Yeah.
Things I already want to go there.
I'm very pleased. Her references spoke very highly of her. I think the phrase that they used was that managerially she's fearless. So she will, I think, be willing to have difficult conversations, which obviously has to happen when you're managing people sometimes. And so I feel very optimistic about her fitting in well with us. So.
Well, I will move to hire Lisa Atkin. No S on the last, just
No.
Atkin. Lisa Atkin for the position of Chief of Staff and to approve the employment letter regarding the same.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we hire Lisa Atkin for the position of Chief of Staff and to approve the employment letter regarding the same. Is there further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Exciting.
When does she start?
It's October 1st.
I think I knew that, just.
So,
Want to get that on the record?
and most likely what we'll do is that next week is my wedding week, so I will be out. But she had expressed an interest in starting to meet with community partners, with our staff, with elected officials. So Teresa and I will probably be getting in touch with you guys about finding a time that maybe she could come down to Arlington and meet with you, and meet with the city down here and the board, and just kind of all the people she needs to start getting to know. So expect some emails from us to set that up for her. Okay, let's do 5.5, which is consider approval of the change order request for the courthouse roof replacement. And I just heard a door. I'm wondering if that might be Jeff coming in. I'm hoping. I thought he was going to try to make it. My understanding is that there's the roof, so the roofers are on the roof as we speak, tearing things off. That there were two issues that we were looking at doing a change order for. One is the drainage. Apparently the roof is very flat in between the drains, and that's where all the puddling is occurring. And so the contractor had some suggested solutions, and I forget what, is it called a cricket? I forget what Jeff told me it's called, but basically to create a little bit of a slope so it'll slope down into the drains on the roof. And then the other piece of it is the addition over the back door has a metal, I forget what it's called, decking, which just means they need to add some things to be able to attach the roof onto it, basically. So I think what we're looking for today is just an approval, and it's a small enough number. I don't even know that we actually need to have a motion, as long as we're okay with.
$751.
Yeah.
65 cents. I'm probably okay.
I'm pretty sure, unless that's,
There it is. Too late. We already did it.
we're talking about you.
Wait,
Come on in. No.
Would you like me to sit here?
Yes, please. So I kind of bumbled through what I thought the change orders were, but I think it'd be good for the public for you to put officially on the record what we're.
So we're talking about the roof, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's gonna be two change orders. One of them is submitted was for between $700 and $800. And the reason for that is we assumed that there was concrete deck over the top of the building. Everywhere. The portion of the entryway from the west, from the parking lot, was added in 1994. Okay. So it has a seal back on it, doesn't. So we need to put down some, essentially it's a special type of sheetrock on it, and then we put the insulation on top of that. So we can't use that adhered system. So the system that we're using on the rest of the building actually glues down with asphalt and primers and roof. So that's what that portion is. The other chamber that I don't have a value for, and I apologize for that, is that in the middle of the roof, in the, we'll call it the wing where the offices is, so from clerk's office back to the courtroom, and then runs north. There are two drains. And the way that was built, it was concrete and kind of slopes around to the edges. And the original drawings indicate that there's supposed to be drainage between the two roof drains. They're like 56 feet apart. Right now, there's no slope between those two. And so what we're talking about is adding a little bit of tapered insulation between those so we can get away from that puddle that we have in the roof. The way it's built, we're going to have some puddling on the roof, and that's, we know that, we acknowledge that in the system we selected. It doesn't have as much slope as we'd like to have on it, but that's one that we can probably take care of pretty quickly. Now, I don't know what the value of that is. I think it should be less than $5,000, but I don't have a value for it at this point. I'm going to call. And so they have to make this special tapered insulation based on the top of the rest of the insulation. So that's what we have.
And then, so I'm thinking we probably still need to, even without the amount, say that it's okay up to a certain amount, because they are scheduled to be done before our next meeting.
This is one of the problems we have with the way your schedule works and the way construction works.
Right.
Which happens, so.
Do you think 5,000 would cover it on the
Well, I
schedule?
hope so. I mean, I'm kind of guessing, it seems like quite a bit to me for what it is, but I know it's going to be more than 1,000, so say 5,000.
I'll take 5,000,
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
But we don't have to tell them that.
So I think we can, that's not all.
We just
Yeah,
need to,
but we need to be sure
we
that
just want to give you
say
enough
enough.
vision.
So here's what I suggest we do, is if you're gonna pass, if you're gonna have a motion, you're gonna vote on it, is just give Judge Farrar the authority to approve up to $5,000 for chamber, moving chamber, and go from there. We've done that before.
Okay.
Do we just need consensus or do we want to?
I think a consensus is probably,
Because of the amount.
because of the amount, I think it's probably okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please,
So
Judge Farrar,
consensus
keep it
is that I can
Okay.
authorize those.
Okay.
please.
Okay, and we already approved your project management proposal.
Okay, so we'll get started on that.
I will say though, Jeff, the lease didn't get approved today because it's held up with our council.
Okay. So I'm not gonna do anything with it.
Until
We're gonna say your lease is,
October
there's no
2nd.
sense for me to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna play it.
So it's sitting there pending, but October 2nd, it'll be on the council's agenda and I'll bring it back to this
Okay.
one and we'll get it. So starting like October 3rd, pencil it in, you can start.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you. Did you want to talk about the library real quick too, and the tourism library? Is that on the agenda? Do you want to talk about that later?
I didn't add it to the agenda. Do you mind sticking around and we can talk about doing court reports?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to talk to you about our mills too.
Okay.
Okay.
We're almost done.
We're almost
so
done.
we're gonna stay for a few minutes.
Okay, 5.6 update on batch plant lease. I heard back from Hood River Sand and Gravel. They are interested in leasing it. The original Thompson Brothers lease had it was a $750 flat amount per month plus $7 per cubic yard of production. And so they asked that we consider continuing with the $750, but reducing the per yard to $5. The reason being that the boiler system was not winterized years and years ago. So they have to pay to bring in the boiler system in order to make it functional, especially during the seasons we're heading into. So they were wondering if we would be open to that. And so I said I would bring it to the court, and if this is something we're interested in, then we would need to obviously draft a lease that would have to come back to the court for approval. But I wanted to see if this was something we would entertain.
And can we do this with consensus again, or do we need a motion?
I think you could direct me to come back with the lease if you were interested, if you were willing to,
What do you think?
to those
Sure,
terms.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. Otherwise, it's just sitting there again, and we don't want that.
Okay, so what Teresa and I will do is go back and get a lease, official lease drawn up, and we'll put it on the board's agenda. I cannot promise in October, because I'm trying to set reasonable expectations with our council. So it may take a little longer than what I would normally like, but we'll put it on our to-do list and bring it back.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, moving on, new business. Consider selection of investment options for the nationwide retirement plan. I think Ellen laid out pretty clearly what the options were and is recommending that we select option one.
Well, it sounds like we have very few participants in the program.
Yeah.
And we need a motion for this, right?
We do need a
Do you have
motion.
any other questions?
No, I talked to Ellen already, so
Talked to
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. So,
So I think what we're actually going to need is a motion to select option number one and to approve the fixed account amendment. See on page, this document basically. So this document becomes amended in our new contract with Nationwide then.
okay.
You want me to make the motion?
Yeah, no, again.
Okay, so I would move to select option one and approve the fixed account amendment to the group flexible purchase payment deferred variable annuity contract with Nationwide Life Insurance Company.
I second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we select option one and approve the fixed account amendment to the group flexible purchase payment deferred variable annuity contract with Nationwide Life Insurance Company. Is there further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we are tabling 6.2 so that Kelly can do a little bit more research for us on fairgrounds configuration. And move on to 6.3, which is consider approval of Barnett and Morrow PC letter of engagement for auditing services. So we had the auditors come in and do their little pre-visit 2 weeks ago now, 2 weeks ago. And one of the things we realized is that the engagement letter, the original engagement letter, did not include auditing the Fair Board's books. And we normally cover that cost, we normally engage the auditors on their behalf. And so this is basically just cleaning that up. I probably need to put on the record that the original selection that we made was not based on cost, it was based on finding a new auditor. So I don't think adding this would have changed that decision or affected the bids that would have come in because our decision was really based around having a new set of eyes. So I feel like that is that this goes in alignment with what that original RFP was and that wouldn't have changed the outcome. So what we would be looking for is just a motion to approve the letter of engagement specifically for the Fair Board, for those seniors that we've engaged in for our regular budgeting, auditing services.
Questions?
No, it sounds good.
Okay, I move to approve the letter of engagement for Barnett and Morrow PC for auditing services for the Gilliam County Fair Board for years ending June 30th, 2019, 2020, and 2021 as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the letter of engagement from Barnett and Morrow PC for auditing services for the Gilliam County Fair Board for years ending June 30th, 2019, 2020, and 2021 as presented. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're on to board member reports. Leslie, ready?
Yes.
We flew that agenda.
I used my book.
You did. Look at you. That's
Go girl.
I wanted to let you all know I registered for the AOC conference. So, get that done. You know, of course, I went down to the motel first because they fill out so fast.
Right.
But I wanted to make sure I could actually get the time off work and it was all okay. So, got that.
Did you, call the hotel and make sure you got the conference rate? You need to do that. Yes, because it's totally.
I mean, I asked them at the beginning.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
I did, even though we were early.
Right.
Yeah, they told me I
Okay.
was with block.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
When I made my reservation, I didn't do that, and then I called back
Mhm.
to get the rate, so.
Okay.
Oh, you were more efficient
I was
than I
hunting for a
was.
bargain right off the bat. Good for you.
Not had any doubts.
So I went to a North Central Public Health District meeting, I think it was last week. They introduced the new environmental health team, and they just started in September. So hopefully they will get caught up on that stuff, their little backlog. They had a little, some flooding in their office building, and so 5 of their staff are currently displaced. And they said that they've been working with Surf Pro, but they haven't been super responsive. So I think Terry is fighting Surf Pro at the moment to get that cleaned up. The North Central Public Health District was in the news recently. There's a little clip, and I can forward it to you if you guys want to watch it, on opioids in Wasco County. It was done by KTVU. The interesting thing is that the statistics said that we had one of the highest rates for prescription drugs in the state, in Wasco County. You know, which is North Central Public Health District, that's why I say we. And Walgreens was the one that was just billing them like crazy. But in our community, Terry reported that in our community, you know, we have a large retirement age, you know, with pain issues. We have, the elderly population in a cancer center here. So she wasn't, you know, all contributing factors. So they weren't super concerned. And our overdose death rates are not high.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and the other thing that somebody brought up in the meeting was that Gilliam and Sherman County also go to, you know, Wasco County Walgreens to get their prescriptions.
They're kind of a hub for
Bill.
the region, yeah.
Well,
Yes.
and Cricket County as well.
Yes, yeah, and they were coming from
Yeah.
all over.
Right.
But Scott Hagee, it was interesting because Commissioner Hagee said that the story wasn't correct. He said the Walgreens data was actually from Lakeview and not the Dalles.
Oh.
So it's like they reported on us, but
No, it wasn't factual.
right, with their facts straight.
Good deal.
I wanted to say something because I haven't had a chance to get back with Teresa about the report schedule on our mandatory reporting. And I guess my thoughts on this are that I would like to see these groups and departments checking in with us.
Okay.
I'd like to know, what they've been up to and also what's coming up, what's on there, what's.
I agree with that. I think it's a good idea just for the public's interest as well.
Me too.
Because if you don't engage in the courthouse with those departments, you wonder what they're doing. And I think that not just for us, but for the public as well.
Okay.
Get an idea, but
I think we could decrease the frequency.
I think annually, everybody annually.
Yeah,
might
I think
be
that would
better.
work. I mean, we could try it.
And maybe we could, because I was kind of thinking, maybe,
One meeting or something.
yeah, or even leading
Once a
up
month.
to maybe a little bit closer to budget time so that we're getting previews of what people are going to be asking for.
Right.
So maybe that will streamline the budget process too, if we've heard. And so maybe we just look at doing, maybe the last quarter of the quarter leading into the budget, we kind of set that time aside to do a lot of kind of forward.
Yeah, I'm,
Okay.
any ideas you guys have sounds good to me. I would like to hear from them.
Okay.
And if we try annually and we have a few that need to come in more often, then we can adjust that.
Sounds good.
Let me see my notes, hold on. Is county college this weekend?
Yes, we meet tomorrow morning.
You guys are gonna miss the UMC.
Yes, we
auction.
are. Yes, we are going to miss the Methodist Church auction.
I will go and I will.
Will you
I will
purchase?
purchase.
Yes, purchase in lieu of. I'm sure you will.
If you want me to send you some pictures, I can.
I'm sure you will.
I'll bid for you. But that's all I
I've got
got.
enough stuff I could fill their auction. That's all you have?
That's it.
Okay, well, I don't have a great deal. I did attend the port meeting on September the 10th, and they voted to appoint Steve Schaefer to fill Aaron Fitzsimmons' position on the port. What else happened? The towing business reported on, it was his last report for his loan, and his business is going great, leaps and bounds, so it's really, it's really good. It was good to hear that. He's expanding, in fact, and he's expanding to more of the county on the freeway because other towing companies don't want to go out on weekends or nights, so.
What's the name of this business?
I can't remember. Do you know Julius?
No, it's on.
No comment? I don't know. Anyway. And I did attend the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting with Waste Management last night. There was a large discussion on the railroad crossing delays and safety issues. The Waste Management and Watco, the short line company, proposed barricades at the crossings to keep the traffic from running through the gates.
Are these the dividers?
Yes.
Okay.
I have pictures of them if you'd like to see them.
I know what they look like.
Okay. Anyway, but what I was told, and I was told this in 3 separate emails by Dave Lowe, the area manager for Waste Management, Watco is willing to break the train every time a car is waiting if we let them put the barricades in. My question is, what difference does it make if the barricades are there or not if you can break the train every time a car goes out there? So I reiterated that many times during our discussion. I volunteered to do some research on the ODOT rules and regulations regarding how long the crossings can be blocked, and also make contact with Watco because Alan Anderson, the Waste Management Senior Manager, emphasized that Watco does not work for Waste Management, they work for Union Pacific Railroad. So in that case, we need to talk to Watco. So I'm going to initiate that and do the research and try to come up with some solutions to our problem.
Great.
And upcoming, I plan to go to County College tomorrow morning.
Last one?
My last one, we get to graduate. Yay! And I plan to attend the AOC District 3 meeting in Portland on the 26th. I will need to leave by noon because Callum runs in Phoenix at 1. So.
I'm sorry,
And so it is the 26th.
September 26th.
Yeah, it's next Thursday.
So no carpool.
No, sorry, no carpool. And Business Oregon is planned to be in Arlington October 1st, and I was going to attend that.
Let's say, are you going to make
I'm
that
not
one?
gonna
Okay. Michelle was just looking for a head count, so she asked me to ask about that.
And that's my September and October up to the next meeting.
Did you want to talk about our meeting?
I do want to talk about Art Mills. Mr. Shaw, did you get Nan's email?
This morning?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Good, awesome.
Recommendations?
No, I don't know who's responsible for that. It's unclear to me when I read the lease. You read the lease.
I have read the lease many times.
Yes.
But
Right.
that's the,
So what are we thinking?
it's still outside
Is it
because
the
it's,
HVAC? Is that what's
Yeah,
happening?
that's what I think happened. So, those HVAC units are big boxes that are molded together, right? And then they have some sealant between those sections. And what I think is happening on two of the units, which are really only two up there, is that, they're pushing 15 years old, and some of those seals are sealing or whatever right now. And so it's not really a roofing issue, it's a mechanical issue. It's equipment. And so somebody needs to probably engage a mechanical contractor to at least verify what the right way to fix that is. Because I'm sure we're not the first ones to have it. And I don't know the answer to it. I mean, I think you might be called across it, and I'm not entirely sure where there's another way to do it. But it's an ongoing problem. We've not been able to identify anything with the membrane itself. We maintain that. And then there's also some water on, this goes back, there is some water coming in through the walls where there's lights on the side, where there's lights on the sides of the building. There's some water that occasionally gets through those. And I'm sure that's a caulking issue around the top of those. But to get out is a trick because they're up in the air, so you have to go reach left in, and it's going to be over the, they call it the west side, it's going to be over the railroad tracks, which not a huge issue. We'll have to work in a clock about how that works, whether we need flaggers or not. So that's a shell issue on the other side. Now, I haven't heard complaints about that for 18 months, but the units continue to be an issue.
So it sounds like we may need to, I mean, we probably should at least figure out how much it would cost.
Well, I think for the HVAC, the first step is to start as, okay, who's responsible? They're trying to establish what needs to do that.
Right.
And I'm happy to do that, but it's one of those issues that's not the county's deal. The county's going to take responsibility for it, and if you ask me to do it, I'll do it. But if it's not, then I'm not.
We may need to do it, yeah.
So that has to get kind of sorted out, and unfortunately, I don't think I can. That was above my pay grade.
What's your feeling on whether that's our responsibility?
I think it's our responsibility, but do you think maybe that's something we should ask Christie? Could we ask Christie to look at that lease? Because Ardent Mills also stresses that they're not sure what it says
Okay.
either of what we're responsible for. What I read the lease to say is we're responsible for anything on the outside of the structure. That's just doors and windows and
The issue is,
roof and.
the ventilation is part of the process, in my opinion. But it's also for general building heating, but it's really set up to be unique to that process. So it's
I
kind of a process equipment, and so that's been the part that. So the other thing that has been come up on that, I believe, and I've not been directly involved with this, so maybe I'm incorrect, but there's been some issues with controls and programming those units as well. And so that potentially comes into play as well too.
Right.
My experience has been that those rooftop units have a life of, I'm going to say 10 to 20 years. And we're at 15 with those right now. And there are some signs of where there's some, particularly the big unit in processing area, there are some, visually there's some signs that they're not unit. So I anticipate that in the course of the next, say, 5 years, probably within the term, this quarter, the next quarter, there may be another discussion about those units.
Well, maybe I should take some time to visit with Dan and Scott. What is his name, Scott?
Yes, Scott.
Yeah, and see
Right.
what they're, in Nan's email, she stated that she wasn't sure whose responsibility it was. So
Right.
that's something, you know.
It's kind of in a gray area if it's there specifically for their production.
Yeah, that I didn't realize, that it isn't just part of the building and as the building itself, but part of the production, and that's.
And you can argue actually either way.
Either
It's
way,
unique.
yeah.
I mean, that thing is set up largely because of what they do in there.
Yeah.
If we set it differently, it was different. Now, it's not direct. I mean, it doesn't suck the dust off of a particular process, but it's set up specific, it's process specific for that area. So.
But the county built that building specifically for what it's being used for too, so that's another point, that it might be our responsibility. So.
Well, I will have a discussion with Christy, our telecom council, this afternoon, and see if she
Just
would
take a quick look at it.
consider
It
looking at-
shouldn't take her a few minutes for her legal mind to make a judgment, but it's, it is gray. This is very gray.
There's a lot of, yes. I agree.
So, that would be helpful, and we do need to do it as soon as we can, because we're getting into the rainy season, and we can't, make
The
the
rainy season
wait.
came early.
It did. It really kind of did, I was surprised. So,
Usually your safety terrible roof off of the building, so.
Not
Turns
necessarily.
out, no, not so much.
So, yeah.
You want to talk about the doors real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I went down and I met with, I went to the Arlington facilities and went to the way the doors are set up. And there's still, and I haven't followed up with them, I still need to follow up with Scott about how the controllers are going to be set up. So maybe I talked about this before, but going back to who's responsible for what. The controls themselves, like how I think needs to be their responsibility because they're like, so those two have to be replaced there. So we kind of got our details set up, we're ready to kind of put out some drawings, but there's still some outstanding issues about how that interface was, the scope of the work is going to be. Where we are.
Good.
Well, since you're sitting there, we'll go on my court reports
Okay.
and let's do the do you have an update on the library? Not yet.
Well, no, I can talk about the library. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it would be a worthwhile discussion.
Because we had, I think where we left it last time was to go back to Jeff and sort of have him give us a range of options. So I think we're looking for some guidance.
So here's my thinking on it, and I have not done a detailed analysis on it. This is kind of what I see where our options are. So let's start from the simplest one. The simplest problem right now is that the door closer on the back is too heavy for some people to operate. It also doesn't have a thumb turn on it, it has a key in it. So to solve the problem, one of the things we can do is simply put in, and Cindy has mentioned this, Cindy Ostrom, has mentioned putting a buzzer on it so somebody can help with the door. And then the minimum I think we should do is put a thumb turn on the inside of it. What we really should do to comply with the ADA provisions is it should be a handset that you can just go like this. So I'm going to say that scope of work is probably, $2,000 to $5,000 depending on. I mean, it seems like a lot. You got to get an electrician there, and then you have to get a door, special door person, special piece of door hardware, and get a key ring. So we're somewhere around. The other thing that and going back to that, I think putting a handset on that is the appropriate thing to do. And I didn't go back to the original plans. I thought we originally had that on there because the way it's set up right now shouldn't be set up.
Not good.
We also talked about putting a power operator on the door, or both doors. And so the issue with the power operator is you got to buy a power operator, which, there's $1,000 there, I think, maybe a little bit more. And you have to get an electrician involved and somebody to install it. So, what's that going to be? I said at least $5,000 per opening to do that. Maybe more, depending on how hard it is to get electrical where you need it to be and how bad do you want to conceal it, right? So you don't see it. So so that's where I originally came up with that $10,000 to $20,000 number. I think it's going to be at least $5,000 per opening. If you want an opinion on what really makes sense, I actually think doing a handset and a buzzer probably makes as much sense as anything if that works. That's the simple solution. There's less to go wrong. As long as somebody's willing to go over the board, it works. So that's how I would probably proceed.
Okay.
Suggestion.
And that range you're thinking,
I'm going to say
Got it?
2,000 to 5,000.
okay,
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable.
Yeah.
And we'll get the clothing adjusted too, so it meets the ADA requirements. And that's always an issue. The problem is keeping the door closed sometimes, and still needing the ADA requirement for an opening course. Sometimes the door wants to sail, so it's always a problem because of the wind.
Right.
So that's where we are on that.
So could you, for next steps, I think I'm kind of of the opinion we should just just go forward.
I think so too, yeah.
Okay.
Get it resolved.
I can just go chase that down.
Okay,
Okay?
that'd be great. Let's do that. Okay, I think that's all we need you for.
One other thing, I think, I'm sorry I forgot, and this goes back to Commissioner Wilkins. I think I'm going to stop by, I haven't been, the report was is that they were repairing the steps of that clock this week. And I was going to stop by my down, I got late, so I'm going to stop by my down and go back and see where we're going.
Okay.
We're going to help everything, but I think
Yeah.
we're going to get that hammer. So.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Anything else?
I think that's it for now. We'll talk to you about office space later.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, a few other things. Let's see here, where to start? Wanted to let you guys know that we got a notice that one of the library board members is stepping down. And so Teresa, I went ahead and had her advertise that to fill the vacancy. So that, I think those will be coming back. Do we have them come back for October 2nd? So I think we'll probably, if we get any interested letters, we'll probably consider those on the 2nd. It's been being advertised currently. Our current council wanted me to let you guys know that they are looking at doing a road tour to come out and meet their municipal clients. And so they're tentatively looking at November 14th to come by and see us. That is assuming they are still our council. November 14th.
We're still happy with
We'll
that.
see how it goes. So I think that's a Thursday. I don't know that for sure, but I just wanted to.
How many of them coming?
That rang bells to me that said that something.
I don't know for sure. It sounded like it was going to be several of them.
Several of them? I suppose we can tell them to prefer Wednesday. Yeah.
I can mention it to them. I don't know that it was.
Client, right? Yeah, we are the client.
But I think they're going to see a lot of clients.
Oh.
And so they were working us in.
Well, if possible.
But I could also at least ask them if we can meet in Arlington. If they come down. I mean, we don't mind driving, so I'll check in with them.
Okay.
We'll be having lots of conversations, I predict, over the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Also, just wanted to put on the radar, let you guys know that, for the record, that there was an issue with cell phones with some of our staff members this week, one of our staff members, where, not to go into too many details, but something that was sent to our juvenile director became part of a criminal case, an ongoing criminal case, and her phone was seized as part of that. And so she was just looking for approval to get a county phone so that her kiddos that are on probation and the family she's dealing with are sending their information to a county phone. So if there is ever a situation where law enforcement needs to look at texts or things like that, she's not having to give out the personal phone for them to be able to do that.
I'm surprised the county hasn't provided her with a phone in the capacity that she uses her phone. That only seems right to me. I'm certainly one of my personal phone is, although I do use it for county business, but limited.
Yeah, so our current policy says basically just that the county court needs to approve those. I think we might need to look at that policy and whether that's just something that you guys are comfortable with me just saying, yes, you can have it or no, you can't kind of thing. But for now, since that's still part of the policy, I wanted to make sure everybody's okay with her getting one.
Yes,
And then
please.
possibly April as well.
I think April too, in her position, definitely.
Yeah, because she has said that there's been issues when she's had a victim that's texting about, domestic violence
Right.
things, and those texts have become part of the court record. So
That's not good.
those are the only two I have requests for, but I just wanted to double check that we were okay.
They're the most sensitive positions, aren't they?
And the expectation is that they are available to the public 24/7 in order to do their jobs. And just the nature of them, they're both dealing with the court system because of what they do. So
Right.
there's a higher propensity for this to need to become part of evidence for,
In this day and age, I
yeah.
can't believe that is what was happening previously.
Yes. So speaking of policies, the other thing I just wanted to note for you guys is that Teresa and I are embarking on a policies and procedures project. where we are basically just,
Sounds exciting.
oh, it's gonna be very, yes, good reading at night. And, so we are basically just putting together right now a list of all of the different policies and procedures that we either have that need updated or that auditors, our insurance agents, et cetera, have said we really need to have these and we don't currently. So the idea would be we're gonna sort of get a master list. I'll probably prioritize those based on the things I think we most frequently have questions about and try to tackle those first. And get drafts that are run by council, by CIS, all those folks, and then those will be coming to the court for actual approval. But I just wanted to let you guys know that we're embarking on that. The chief of staff, I think, will probably play a big role in getting those. That'll be some of her initial big projects that we're working on for all three of us. So expect those at a future board meeting. The last thing I have is, speaking of future board meetings, I wanted to talk about the rest of the quarter. So we're scheduled to meet on the 2nd of October. No issues there. The 16th, normally Teresa and I would be putting together packets the week before. That happens to be my wedding
Is that a
week.
big week?
Yeah.
So I will not be in the building at all that week. And so I am wondering, based on how long our meetings have been taking and how much we have pending, if you guys are okay with us canceling the 16th.
Just like that, it's a race down my.
Perfect. No objections.
Wasn't
Well,
that?
that's not fun.
We do have on the 23rd the Tri-County
Right.
report.
Right.
So I was thinking if there's anything really pressing that absolutely needs something before November, we might do a special meeting or something,
Meet prior to that.
but unless that happens, I think we are probably okay to just do our business on October 2nd. And then November, the 6th is our regular meeting, the 20th is AOC, so I just wanted to put on the record that we're going to cancel that meeting as well, since we'll all be in AOC.
Right.
And then the question for December, I think maybe it's just pending, and we'll wait to see what the workload is. But honestly, with the amount of stuff that we have and how efficient we've been in our meetings, at this point right now, until we straighten out what council's up to and get him turning things around more quickly, we're kind of in a standstill on some of our projects because we're just waiting. We can't send anything to court until we hear back from him on some of those projects. So we may also look at canceling the 18th if we continue to have this backlog with council.
Okay, and as it gets closer, we'll a lot more.
Yes. If we get Christy up and running and she's rolling things out, then maybe we'll need that meeting. But at least for November and December, we'd be canceling the second meeting of those months. You guys are okay with that?
All right, so
We'll just-
October, November, December, one meeting.
Yes.
Maybe December, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Don't plan anything for the 18th.
Don't plan anything for the 18th. Okay, so I think that's all I have. Announcements. We have the AOC meeting, district meeting next week. Our next regular meeting is October the 2nd. There will be we will be doing a work session that day at 8:30. From 8:30 to 10 on red zones, and then we'll have a regular meeting at 10. The day before that, as you mentioned previously, Sherry, will be the workshop here in Arlington about tax incentives and all that good kind of stuff. I think that's it for meetings until
You guys will come back with a full report on
Oh yeah,
how to do that.
that'll be like the preview for the work session, I think.
Right, yeah, which I think will help us keep our meeting a little bit shorter this time.
Because we will have already covered quite a bit. October 1st is our chief of staff's first day, so I'm going to try to navigate going to both, helping her on board and then also participating, so we'll try to figure out a schedule with her.
Do you have a office space plan for?
I'm going to have Jeff walk us through, but I think right now I'm looking at turning the enclosed conference room into a third office.
My office, she's taking my office.
Yes. But we would probably put
We can say no.
No, let's say yes, okay.
But I think we would probably look at putting a smaller table in the back, so Teresa has a workspace, and if you did want to come in and work out of that office, you would have a place that there's a place that we could work. We have interns or something that people
Well, I
need
can always
workspace.
look out in the
Yeah,
Oh,
big.
You can do that. And then we may also look at reconfiguring the doors, putting in more solid doors, because you can hear everything
Right.
that's happening.
It's not
in those-
private.
It's not very private, especially for someone who's going to be having conversations that may be sensitive or difficult with staff.
personnel.
Yeah, so, but I'm hoping, I wasn't joking when I said I'll probably just have Jeff walk through and look at, like, is this structurally, can we put doors here, or what would it take to do? Because I have in my head what I think it could be, but it may be totally not
Structurally.
okay. So, more to come on
Okay.
that one. Plus, I kind of want feedback from Teresa and Lisa on
Right,
flow and what would work best, so,
Sounds good.
to be coming back later.
Okay.
I don't think there's any more announcements. We'll be back in session on October 2nd, so I will adjourn the meeting. Unless you guys have anything more?
Teresa and I are going to talk about our booth at AOC, if either of you are interested in throwing out some ideas. Come on! It would be very.
We want a better showing.
I know, yes,
I know.
we did approve what we did last year, and so we're just looking for thoughts and ideas, and so we're going to meet after the meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Brainstorm.
All right, I'll adjourn the regular meeting and let you guys get to the brainstorm.